Hi, this is Jamie with Antelope Beads, and we're here to show you how to make a wrapped loop. If you're just getting started in wire working, you'll find that wrapped loops are probably one of the most common forms of wire wrapping that you'll do as you're beading. These earrings are an example of a wrapped loop. You can see at the top here where the head or the eye pin of the earring attaches to the ear wire. There's a little bit of a coil around that wire there. That's what's called a wrapped loop. So we're going from just a straight piece of wire to that piece there. Here's an example of the 4 different steps of a wrapped loop, and we'll lay these out first and then we'll show you how to do each step. As I said, you start with an eye pin, you then make a 90-degree bend, you then start by making a simple loop, and you finish by wrapping it. So let's show you how it's done. Here's a head pin, and here's a bead that we'll use to do the wrapped loop on. So I just take the head pin and string the bead. I then take my flat nose pliers or my chain nose pliers, it's kind of a matter of preference, to make a 90-degree bend just above the bead. Now you want to keep in mind that the amount of space that you leave there between the bead and your pliers is the amount of wire wrapping that you're going to have on this little charm when you're finished. So I'm going to make that 90-degree bend. And once I do that, it's going to look like this. Then I take my round nose pliers and I take the little charm and I'm going to grip it just a little bit a ways from that bend. Now I want to roll the pliers away from me, and I want to stop when it gets on top of that bend. It's a little bit tricky to see here, but if I pull the pliers out, you can see that there's kind of a half circle there above that bead. Now I'll just put my pliers back into that hole, and I like to just use my finger to bring the wire the rest of the way around. So now when I remove it from the pliers, you can see that there's that loop there above the bead. And this is called a simple loop. Now I'm going to take, and using my chain nose pliers, I'm going to adjust this just a little bit, just to make sure that my circle is a good shape and that it's even around. Then I take it and I use these chain nose pliers to hold the loop that I made. I'm going to hold that in my non-dominant hand, and I'm going to take my flat nose pliers and I'm going to grab the end of that wire and I'm going to start wrapping it around the stem that we created below that 90-degree bend. Now this is the part that people need lots and lots of practice on. I still do because they're not always perfect. But like they say, the more you practice, the better at it you get. And once you've wrapped it a couple times, you can take your cutter and just go in and you can cut right there, right next to the end of your wrapping. After that, you have just a little charm with a wrapped loop, just like this one up here. You can then make earrings with these, like this one. You can connect them together into a charm bracelet. Lots of different ideas. And if you go to antelopebeads.com, you can see lots of designs with these wrapped loops, and you'll also find other videos for lots of other techniques that we're going to do as well.